Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome back to another of my videos. It's been a while since I've made a post, and so I could not have allowed another week to pass without making a post. And there are so many things to talk about. There's so much that's happening in education. There are so many things that's happening culturally, and there are so many things that are happening creatively. Your first time stopping by my channel, welcome. My name is Doreen Reed, and I make content on things that are cultural, things that are educational, and things that are creative. And of course, if you are returning to my channel, maximum respect as always. Big up yourself, big up yourself, big up yourself, big up yourself. And so today, now I'm just going to jump straight into today's video. And I just want to talk a little bit about the incident that has all of Jamaica outraged, right? Um, and I'm talking about the incident with the schoolboys, the alleged 7 schoolboys who allegedly assaulted the young lady. And I've thought long and hard about that which I'm going to say. Um, because so many things are going through my mind about the whole incident. So yes, you become emotional about it and then you become irrational, but you also want to be logical when you're having certain kinds of conversations that involve children, that involves particular actions that are legal, and have to do with education and how you feel and how it impacts you and all these different kinds of things. And one of the questions I'm asking is what exactly it is that is causing the outrage. Yes, and it's a real question. So maybe somebody is looking on and say, is that really a real question? But it is a real question. What exactly it is that society is outraged about, or why is it that you're outraged? I know why I'm outraged. Yes, but I want to know why. And I'm questioning it because it feels as if our outrage is just selective. Now, society, they always have a saying that says school is a microcosm of society. And that them say not true. Yeah, man. It's a mini society. That's what school is. And the reality is what these boys have done. Yes, it's no different from the general happenings that are happening within society. Yes, every day we hear about people being abducted and raped. We hear about people being abducted and become unalived. We hear instances of these mass killings, mass shootings, etc. All these different things that are happening. And we see these traits manifesting themselves within society and so within the schools. And so these 7 schoolboys who have been accused of this particular kind of act, they are simply mirroring what is happening in society in general. And that is why, in my mind, I'm saying, okay, why are we outraged? School for me is that place where the first set of compliance starts. Discipline, respect for authorities, apart from your home. Yes, in school, you have to respect authority. You have to understand that there are rules and regulations and there are consequences for actions whenever they are done. Now, recently, what we have seen coming out of schools, we've seen a lot of videos coming out of schools where we have the students who are rude and utterly disrespectful to teachers, and teachers are responding in ways that society considers to be unbecoming. And so when you look at the comments under some of those videos, the teachers are taking a beating. They are taking a beating, and what the students are laughing and they're joking. And so the negative behaviors of children in schools have been glorified by society. Teachers right now are unable to discipline children because you know what? Everybody comes out and talks about right, the right of the child, and these teachers are out of order. But rights come with responsibility. And that is the part that we are not teaching children, that rights come with responsibility. So of course you can take your right, but it comes with responsibility. We like to talk about freedom of speech, actions, freedom of thought. They can do what they want. But we also need to understand that actions also have consequences, and we are not teaching our children that actions come with consequences. And we see it happening now with these schoolboys who, in a moment, decide that, you know what, this is what we are going to do. And I'm sure not one of them would have thought about the consequence of that particular kind of action. Yes, I had this discussion with somebody recently, and somebody was saying to me, oh, but this has happened before in the past. And the reality, yes, it's true. It may have happened. But when it happened in the past, some of those persons would have experienced consequences, and so others would have learned from what it is that would have happened to others. And the reality is, I'm not saying that the boy should be perfect and we are all perfect, because a number of us within a particular generation would have committed certain kinds of infractions. And the only reason that some of us were not caught, yes, or maybe not have not gotten in trouble, it's because we didn't have social media and we didn't have these camera phones to capture a number of the actions. But the difference within that particular era was that discipline was strong. There was a community that was raising family that was raising children, people were looking out, and so you could discipline. Today, the level of discipline has changed. The values, the morals, the beliefs, the systems have all changed. And so parenting has changed drastically. So parents are no longer disciplining children the way they normally discipline children. And so when they come to school, teachers can't discipline them. Remember, these same students in schools are the same students who grow up, graduate, and then become immersed into society. So tell me, what do we expect when within a school system and school structure, we don't allow those children to practice discipline? We don't allow them to practice anything discipline. We don't allow them to respect authority. We don't allow them to understand that when you commit certain kinds of actions, it's going to come with consequences. We don't allow them to understand that. So how then do we expect them to suddenly leave school, become immersed in society, and suddenly become disciplined individuals? We've taught them wrong in the first place. Yes, and so we're in a society now where technology is out there. Everybody is talking about rights, response. Everybody wants to talk about freedom of speech. Everybody wants to do what they want to do, and we're adopting so many things from other parts of the world. Yes, and these things are erasing the kind of morals and values that once existed. Yes, it's the family values have also disappeared in many ways. Yes, and so because of that, we have situations like what we have now. I've seen some of the comments on the videos, and there were so many persons who were talking about, why is this young lady there? You know, she should not have been there, etc. Maybe she shouldn't have. You and I don't know how she ended up there, but maybe she shouldn't have. But at the end of the day, those boys had no right, especially the one who beat her to a pulp. Think about if that was your child coming home to you, beaten to a pulp by a boy, simply because she said no. Right? We also want to move away from this thing about victim blaming, not taking away the responsibility from the person who would have committed the offense. Yes, while it is that the young lady need to be responsible for her own actions, etc., but we cannot remove the responsibility from the offenders in the situation. And sometimes that's what we do. I saw somebody posted something on TikTok where an alleged parent seemed to have said to them to take down the image because that's a picture of her son, and it is not the first time the young lady was doing it. No, it matters not whether it was the first time, the second time, the fifth time, the 10th time. It doesn't matter. It does not give anyone the right, yes, to level that kind of abuse that was leveled on that young lady. And so, parents, we also have to guide our students, to our children in the right way. Help them to understand that some things come with consequence. Now, if if these boys are found guilty, they have now found themselves at such tender age in trouble with the law, and this is now interrupting schooling. They're probably going to be locked away in some space for maybe God he knows how long. We don't even know what kind of reform measures are going to be put in place for them, and so schooling is interrupted. So think about if reform measures are not put in place and these young men come back out into society. Yes, they are now probably, by the time they come out, they are much older. We don't know what they're going to become, how that is going to impact society. And the reality is, if we continue with the kinds of mindsets that we have, what we saw in that video with those schoolboys and the schoolgirls and that schoolgirl, it's only the beginning. There's more to come if we continue with this kind of mindset. And so we become outraged about some other things. Yes, but other things we're saying it's okay. We can't okay certain actions and then suddenly be outraged about another action when both things walk hand in hand. So when we see those students in classroom disrespecting teachers the way they are disrespecting teachers, and we are cheering them on from our sofas, from behind our computer screens or wherever we are telling them that it is okay. But at the same time, when we are cheering them and watching them disrespecting teachers, when they commit actions like these that puts them in trouble with the law, then we can't have an outrage. So we can't be selective. And that is why I'm asking the question, why are we outraged? Because if we are supporting one action and then become outraged about another, then we are being hypocritical in how we're doing things. Discipline is important for all children. If you're going to do well, if you're going to excel, you need to have some amount of discipline. Because one of the things I've always learned is that people will be willing to work and try with somebody who has less talent, less competence, but they have the right attitude and the right kind of discipline. But if you are in discipline, regardless of how talented you are, regardless of how competent you are at things, people will not want to be around you. Yes, you have to learn to practice discipline. And as a society, we need to do some evaluation, look at ourselves, and once we look at ourselves, we need to assess where we are and think about the role that we are all playing in creating little monsters, like that little boy who was beating that young lady to a pulp. Yes, we need to think about the actions that would have led to that. School, a microcosm of society. The actions of those boys, just a reflection of what is happening in our society. The question is, what are you going to do about it? What is the role that you are going to play to help to fix this problem that we are having here in Jamaica? Let me hear your thoughts. Just put your comments in the comments section and let us continue the conversation. Do you agree that our outrage is selective? Just tell me, what are your thoughts? Yes, do you agree that what we are seeing or what we saw in that video from those 7 boys is simply a reflection of what is happening within society? But those are my thoughts. I don't know what yours are. Just share them with me. All right, and this is where I end this video. Until I make another one, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel.